Hey there, it's me. Walk with me, if you will, as I talk over and discuss something that has been on my mind: the Great Deception. And when I speak of the Great Deception, I'm referring to a person and the energy that they give off and why they give off that energy. I'm going to reference this as if it were a romantic relationship. Bear in mind, however, that this can relate to any number of relationships. I'll give you a few examples: friend to friend, coworker to boss, coworker to coworker, teammate to teammate. Okay? Mother to child, son to child. The list could go on and on and on because we're talking about relating to one another. So let's say you were in a romantic relationship and you are the kind of person who is very loving, giving, supportive. You kind of are the type who would bend over backwards for the person that you are in love with, and you actually become quite enamored with that person, and you have a tendency to put your all into them. On the flip side, your person is possibly a taker. They're a little bit more selfish than you are, and they're self centered. And everything that you do, they take it and they open up so that they can receive even more. And the more they open up, the more you pour in until you get to the point where your every waking moment and mood, all of your moves are about them. Now, that person may have started out being similar to you, but when they found out that you outdid them in the loving and the giving and the support part, they got really comfortable and they switched on you midstream. And they decided that there were going to be two roles in this relationship: one of giving and one of taking. And they are the taker. Now, you have the opportunity to bow out of this thing, but you don't. You want to know why? Because now this has become a cycle. You are on the proverbial hamster wheel and you are going a mile a minute. You are headlong and you are knee deep in that thing, and it's about to come up past your shoulders and choke you out. Yep, you're about to be smothered by your own love and how much you're giving of yourself into somebody else. And so what happens is it was a sneaky, subtle exchange of energies where you didn't even see it coming. Therein lies the deception. And I'm going to say again that initially, from the other person's standpoint, it may not have started out that way. But because you went so hard and so long and so strong, you almost kind of twisted their arm into it. Because no matter what they did, their poop didn't stink, and you made sure that they knew that. And so they started to take you at their word and believe that their poop didn't stink. And here we now have a problem that was created by your own doing. How, you say, are you the cause of this problem when they are the ones who are taking? Well, let's see here. Had you not been overly giving, overly sharing, and put up some boundaries for yourself, and took time to pull back so that they could reciprocate energy, you wouldn't be in this situation. As I oftentimes say, I am not victim shaming, nor am I victim blaming, but right now we're not talking about victims. We're talking about habitual behavior. We're talking about you giving too much because you feel good, because you know what? You actually get something back. Your endorphins go a mile a minute when you're giving. It is your happy place. You are a giver. That giving puts a key in your back like nothing else. It is like fuel to an empty tank. But see, it is also a measure of your deficit. You pour so much because that's how much lack you have within. You don't see it that way? I'm sure you don't. I'm sure you don't. Because how could giving be a bad thing? How could you giving up of yourself? How could you loving? How could you being kind? Okay, let's take kind out. How could you being nice be a bad thing? Well, I've discussed the difference between being kind and being nice before, so go and search that video out. But the point is, if you are someone who overly gives, overly shares, overly supports others, there leaves nothing else for you. It causes the other person to become an abusive person and misuse you because they see that you don't have any boundaries. There's no mark that they can get to where you're going to snap out of it and, just treat them as a regular person because you have placed them on this pedestal of do no wrong. You did that, right? And so I'm not talking about people who inherently have met some damn narcissist. I'm talking about you being Miss Goody Two Shoes out here with your bow and arrow, playing Cupid for yourself, finding somebody to love bomb. Oh yeah. Let's talk about it. Women can do that too. Women are manipulators too. But see, what happens is you manipulated so much that now all of a sudden he took the bait and he's wanting what it is you're offering and you tired. See how that came back around to bite you in the butt? Because you were trying to lure somebody in. You were trying to, utilize your wares in a way that's not beneficial. It's not natural because you started this thing out with the intentions of hooking that person, right? As opposed to just living with them, existing with them, learning, sharing equally, both give and take. You decide to shower. You decide to give, implant, pour yourself to, well, hell, if you were doing it to anyone else, anybody would feel well within their right to accept it and just roll with it and, not expect that anything is wrong with that because after all, you started it. And so now you're in trouble. Now you're in too deep. Now you're running on fumes and you're exhausted and they, from your perspective, are to blame. But I challenge you to ask yourself, are they really? You see, I was taught a long time ago, a man will only do what you allow him to do. In the same token, I'm saying now, a man will only do what you have taught him to do. It's not about man against woman, woman against man. It's about being in tune with yourself and calm enough, even though you're excited, to go home and scream in a pillow and let that energy out versus just pouring it out on him versus fuck it and just doing stuff because you're excited. It's an addiction to the highs, the feeling of giving. Because as givers, you well know you get something out of giving. And so don't try to turn someone else who you have chosen as your target to give. Once they start receiving and they start laying back and they're comfortable and they're not reciprocating, you get mad. That doesn't make sense because at that point, you are the gaslighter, but you're doing it from a different vein, which most people don't talk about. And so now you're the victim. And he's an asshole because he don't get back and he don't recognize and he don't see and he don't understand and he don't know and he don't never acknowledge. Well, you don't give him room to because it's your show, because you're the one in the spotlight. You're the one having a good time. You're not worried about the reciprocity when you're in the midst of your hell making for yourself. You're not worried about reciprocity because you're getting what you want at that time. But once you become tired is when you wake up because you got nothing else to do because you're so exhausted. You on the couch and you looking around going, this mother sucker don't do nothing. And now you're resentful and now you're mad. But let me admonish you, you should be mad at yourself. Anybody in your life, man, woman, child, don't matter, can only respond to what it is that you have put out there, set forth, and allowed what you create. And so never get so far outside of yourself, or I should say ahead of yourself when meeting someone, when starting relationships. I don't care if it's at work, at a new job, and you meet people as for friends or coworkers or whatever the case. Whether it's you met somebody, socially, and now you want to be friends. I don't care. Protect yourself, for one. That's the first thing. Never move too fast in any situation with anyone. I don't care if it's romantic or not. And guard your heart above all things. Guard your mind. What it is you think about that person. Who placed them on a pedestal when you don't even know who they fully are yet? And sometimes you can change someone and make them into something that you don't want by manipulation. Let's face it, we're human. We're in this skin suit. A lot of us like things. A lot of us enjoy attention. If you haven't learned somebody's behavioral patterns and who they are fully, how they were raised, that has everything to do with who they are today. A lot of times, especially if they haven't done the work yet. So then there's that. You haven't even found out if this person is even worthy of your time and attention. And if they possibly have a propensity to take over you because because now you have unearthed some deep-seated issue that they haven't even worked through yet. So now you got even bigger problems when all you set out to do initially was just love them, just give them a little love, a little tenderness. That's all. I just want to love them. Okay, you better start loving you. You better turn all that energy into self, so that you can guard yourself, so that you could pick up and notice when things are going on that really ain't for your good. So you won't snowball yourself. Sometimes it ain't the other person. It's what you have set up because you're so manipulative, because you want to be in love, that you try to bait somebody into loving you. And then you turn around and be like, I don't want this person because now that I'm getting to know them, I see that this is not nice. He is not nice. This is not something that I could deal with and or put up with. But you done snowballed them so much too. You snowballed two people. You snowballed yourself and you snowballed them. Then now it's a scary situation. Now they don't want to leave. Now they want this loving. They want this attention, this attention. Whatever it is that you put on him in the bedroom, girl, he want that. Whatever it is that you did to that girlfriend, if every time y'all go out, you picking up the tab, okay, she want that. If every time y'all go shopping together, you go, oh girl, I get that for you. She want that. But then you run along to your family and friends and pull whoever's ear and say, oh, they a user. They taking advantage of me. I don't think they really like me for me. I think they a user. Well, how did they find out that you somebody that they could use? Or why did they feel that way? So sometimes we deceive ourselves. That's the real deception. Now I know good and well you didn't think that this video was going to flip around like it did. But sometimes you got to pull people in to get their attention, to tell them the truth. It may be you. You may be the issue. Now, this again has nothing to do with victim blaming or victim shaming for those persons who have run into some manipulative, sociopathic persons or narcissists even. We're not talking about that. We're talking about you, not facing you, doing the work before you ran out here to get these friends and or romantic relationships so that you could be guarded against this. Fight the urge to have a high based off of giving. Because you end up giving too much, and then what? You can't pay your bills because you was so in love and so captivated with the feelings that you were getting from giving that you done gave too much. And now your bills is behind because you had to buy that for him, girl. He deserved it. How? How he deserve it? How? Who is he? No. He don't get a key to your house. He don't get to spend the night. He don't get to move in. He don't get to drive your car. No. What has he shown you? Give everybody the equal opportunity to give to you as well. I hate to bust up your happy place, but it needs to be busted up because what others of us don't want to hear is you belly aching, whining, and crying, talking about how terrible he is, when really it was you who started this mess. Okay? So I don't want to start repeating myself because I could easily do that. I just wanted to put that out there really quickly because it's something that I learned. Because again, I don't talk about things I haven't been through myself. But when you, as you know, you grow. And so as I continue to mature in life, I now want to share the things that I've learned in the past. All right. And so, of course, as per usual, I love you much.